What's the deal, my people? Teflon in the building with another Game of Thrones Season 8 theory video. And no matter what happens in this show, at some point, the Night King must fall. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly who's going to end his life and how his life is gonna end. Now, when dealing with the death of the Night's King and how he is going to die, I believe that there have been clues all the way from season 1 that point to exactly how this man is going to die. And I know that there is Night King fans out there all of a sudden just popping up and they say they wish for him to sit the Iron Throne. This is not going to happen. This is not what this man wants. But in this video, I'm going to explore and tell you all these clues that you could have missed. Maybe you caught them, maybe you didn't, and point to you and tell you exactly how the Night's King will meet his demise. Guaranteed, this is how it's going to go down. But before I do, if you can, please hit that thumbs up button. We're trying to get to 500 likes before 24 hours so we can trigger the YouTube algorithm, and most importantly, subscribe so you can be notified every time I drop a new Game of Thrones video, because we're going for it all, my people. That big silver button in the sky. Help a brother out. Clue number 1, without a shadow of a doubt, is the beheading of the Night's Watchman. And actually, we get 2 clues in this one, but we're only going to focus on the one. I will bring back the other one later. Now, when this goes down, they try to frame it as a northern boy becoming a man. Like this is his rite of passage, watching someone be beheaded, right? That's what they want you to think, and that's what they try to frame this as. But it truly is the first clue that we get on how the Night King will be defeated. And yes, I do believe it's a good possibility that the Night King gets his head chopped off in the end. We have seen a lot of people get their head chopped off, so it's possible that he could get his head chopped off in the end. Now, we hear Jon Snow say to Bran that he must not look away or father would know. So Bran must witness the execution. And then after this, we see Ned go to Bran and try to explain to him exactly why he did it.
You understand why I did it?
Jon said he was a deserter.
But do you understand why I had to kill him?
Always the old way?
Always the old way. So the first men respect the old ways of doing things. And that is our first clue on how the Night King will meet his end. Now, I said this clip also shows something else, and what that is that Blood Raven drove the Mad King mad by sending him visions of the White Walkers and the Night King flying over King's Landing on the Ice Dragon. Remember, Ares is known as the Mad King.
Is it true he saw the White Walkers?
The White Walkers have been gone for thousands of years.
So he was lying.
The madman sees what he sees.
And that madman seen nothing but the White Walkers and the Night King. Now that brings us up to clue number 2. And clue number 2 is Beric Dondarrion pointing at the Night King with Jon Snow.
There's a raven flying for Dragonstone now. Daenerys is our only chance.
No. There's another. Killed him. He turned them all.
There is an interesting line that Jon Snow says right after he hears these words, and I will address this line and what it means in this video.
You don't understand.
What doesn't he understand, Jon Snow, that you understand? We will address that later on in this video, because that is a crucial, and I mean crucial, thing that he said that you may not have caught. That brings us up to clue number 3. And clue number 3 is the meeting between Jon Snow and Ramsay Bolton. Now, most people, when they think about this meeting, they think about Sansa Stark and Ramsay, or the classic stink face side eye that we get from Lady Mormont. But it's not about that. It is about the words that Jon Snow speaks to Ramsay. That is what the hidden meeting, the true meeting about defeating the Night's King means. And they point it out right here.
Get off your horse. Kneel. I am a man of mercy.
You're right. There's no need for a battle. Thousands of men don't need to die. Only one of us. Let's end this the old way. You against me.
So we see that the old way is one-on-one, man versus man, lord versus lord, or should we just say king versus king? Because the man's army is just too vast to beat. There is no way they were going to take out his whole entire army. So that's why I believe that without a shadow of a doubt, we will see a one-on-one battle between the Night King and Jon Snow. That has to happen, people. And I believe that this is going to have to be two different battles for Jon Snow when he goes up against the Night King. So the first time, I believe Jon Snow will have to lose this battle. I cannot see him winning this battle in any shape or form, because Jon Snow is known as beating up everyone.
I keep hearing stories about you, bastard. The way people in the north talk about you, you're the greatest swordsman who ever walked.
In fact, everyone Jon Snow has fought already, he has beat up. He has destroyed everybody. He's seemingly the best fighter that we have seen in all the Westeros. So for that reason, Jon Snow has to take an L. He hasn't taken one yet, and he's due for an L. And I think his first L he's going to take is when he goes up against the Night King, because what Ramsay Bolton says is very telling. He's saying the truth, and he's saying exactly what you need to know about Jon Snow's fighting ability.
I keep hearing stories about you, bastard. The way people in the north talk about you, you're the greatest swordsman who ever walked.
It's a story. It's what the stories tell, meaning it's not the truth. Jon Snow is a very good fighter. When you look at him when he fought Carl Tanner, he was going to lose that fight. He was just about done. It wasn't until he got the assist that made Jon Snow win this battle. And when we seen him fight the Thenn, he didn't win in the honorably fashion. He had to spit in this man's face to distract him in order to hit him with the hammer and win. But those stories aren't told in its entirety. It's just told that Jon Snow defeated the Thenn and Jon Snow killed Carl Tanner. Which then brings us to clue number 4, which is the Tower of Joy. Now, we've seen this exact same thing play out with Ned Stark. Now, when people see this scene, they always want to think about what happened after the fight when Ned Stark found Jon Snow, and they say that's the big thing about the Tower of Joy. But it really isn't. It's what Bran Stark says to Blood Raven. There's a reason why Blood Raven took him to this tower. Yes, it was to show Jon Snow's parentage, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's also to show us, the people who are watching, exactly how things are in Westeros. Because when Bran is watching him fight Sir Arthur Dayne, he says,
better than my father.
Far better.
Not even close. He's saying far better. He's way superior than his father. Now, I don't think it's going to be this big of a gap when Jon Snow fights the Night King, but I think it's going to be big enough that you should be able to tell who should win this one-on-one battle. But why does Bran feel this way? Why is Bran shocked that this guy is so much better than his father?
My father beat him.
Did he?
No, he did. Heard the story 1,000 times.
Now, whether he heard this story from his father or just people in the North, we know that Ned Stark's reputation is that he beat Sir Arthur Dayne, and he beat him fair and square. But we learn that that's not the case, and so does Bran when he sees his father do what he considers an unhonorable act, and that his father really did not defeat Sir Arthur Dayne one-on-one, but he needed an assist. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen with Jon Snow. And the history books will not reflect it, and it will not be told that way, but in the end, the Night King will die at the hands of Jon Snow, but Jon Snow is going to get an assist to kill him. And that will be the exact same assist that Ned Stark received to kill Sir Arthur Dayne.
He stabbed him in the back.
Someone will stab the Night King in the back to allow Jon Snow to land the finishing blow. And we just so happen to have someone who is known as the King Slayer, and this King Slayer is known for stabbing the king in the back. So it's a great possibility that Jaime Lannister will be the person to help distract the Night King, allowing Jon Snow to put him down once and for all. Because when it comes to ending this long night, honor has nothing to do with it. It's just about getting the job done. And that brings us to our final clue of the video, clue number 5, and that is the plan that they put in place to stop the Night King. We hear them say something that is very significant.
Dragonfire will stop him.
I don't know. No one's ever tried.
Dragonfire will not stop the Night King, and that plan will fail. And also, Jon Snow's sword, Longclaw, will break and shatter when he gets into this first battle with the Night King, forcing Jon Snow to forge Lightbringer, which is a flaming sword of Azor Ahai, and it will have a different kind of dragon fire, by stabbing Daenerys and killing her to make this sword. But that's a whole nother video, and I have a playlist if you want to hear exactly why that's going to happen, and I'll put that playlist at the end of this video and in the cards, and you can look at all the videos that I put out there for bittersweet ending for Jon and Daenerys that will show you all the clues that pointed out that this is going to happen. But you tell me in the comments what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Peace and stay sexy.